Log is one of the most important concepts used in project management. RAID log is a notebook which project manager use to track important things in a project which can affect the project success. Now let's go RAID log in detail. RAID has four letters: RAID. R stand for risks. Risk means things that might go wrong. For example, client may not provide data on time. A is for assumptions, what we are assuming to be true in a project. For example, we are assuming that client has a clean data available. I for issues, things that have already gone wrong. Data which are received from client is already having 40% missing values. That might be an issue. D for dependencies, what we need from others to proceed. Need client's IT team to grant API access. So these are the four things that can be tracked in a Excel sheet, which is usually done by project manager and the development team as well. uh, this is how the four tabs that can be created for each one: risk, assumption, issues, and dependencies. So here risks, this is how the risk columns will look like: risk ID, risk description, impact, probability, mitigation plan, owner, status. So here in risk ID we'll just give any ID of that particular line number. Then there's a risk description. What is the impact of that risk? High, medium, or low? What is the probability again of that risk? It is medium, high, or low. Mitigation plan. What is the mitigation plan, or how we are planning it to already handle it? Owner, who will be the owner, and what is the status? Same for another line items, and like that we will be creating more and more line items as we go ahead in the project and keep adding these lists. Another one is the assumptions. In assumptions we have assumption ID, what is the assumption, who is the owner, validation date, and status. When it's basically the same thing but with the less number of columns here. The assumption ID and the assumption, what is the assumption basically, we what we are assuming SME available for workshops, or we are assuming that the budget will be approved, who will be the owner for that assumption, and when we are expecting that assumption to be true, and the status for that. Similarly, for issues there is a separate tab we can create. Again, issues ID is the column name, issue, impact, action plan, owner, and status. And then dependencies: dependency ID, dependency, dependent team here, due date, and status. The important now here, the thing to note here is that we can combine all that into this tab, uh, which is RAID log, a combined sheet for all. But it is advisable to keep all these sheets separate for risk, assumption, issue, and dependency instead of having all in one. So this RAID log sheet is having all risk, assumption, issues, and dependency, in a single sheet itself, which may can become very cluttered and confusing as the time goes on, as the project execution is going on uh, from day-to-day activities. So this is a very important tool used by project managers to track all these important items and categorize into risk, assumption, issues, and dependencies. So throughout the project life cycle they can mitigate those risks, handle the dependencies and assumption issues on time. Thank you.